High-speed, or broadband internet, has become a pretty generic term from advertisers, which makes it incredibly hard to differentiate between the packages and providers and make an informed decision on what's the right fit for you. In this episode, let's plug in and discuss the benefits and gotchas when finding an internet plan. The term itself was introduced as internet technology grew past the dial-up stage, when most of us were connecting to the internet through a phone line, and simple items could take minutes or hours to download. When internet providers started offering speeds that surpassed this, it was referred to as high speed. But speeds and connections have progressed quite a bit since then, and there are more choices than ever before. When looking at internet providers, there are 5 common connection types that you'll most likely run into: fiber, cable, DSL, satellite, and cellular. Fiber, which is provided by companies like Google Fiber, Verizon Fios, or AT&T UVerse, is currently the gold standard of consumer connections, with speeds up to 20 times that of other connection types by using fiber optic cables to transfer the information. While becoming more widespread each year, it's still not available in most areas and usually comes with a bit of a heftier price tag. Cable connections are just like its name suggests. It's through cable providers and uses the same wiring as cable television to get you to the internet, or coax cables. DSL is very similar to cable, but uses the existing phone line system through a phone provider to connect to the internet. Now, for folks that might be a bit more off the beaten path, there are a couple of other options available through satellite or cellular data networks. But these connections do not offer as fast or dependable speeds as the other 3 do at this time. Now that you know what types there are, we can start to talk about speed. When companies advertise high-speed internet, they usually are only referring to one half of the equation. Data needs to travel both ways, to and from your device. This is called download and upload speeds. Most advertising focuses only on the download speed, which is how fast you can receive information. But the upload speed, or how you can send information, is usually much more limited. This means that while you can watch Pomeranian videos in real time, if you try to put your own video of Pom Pom on YouTube, it would take much longer. Now, of course, faster speeds are always more desirable. But unless you have your own internet business, are an avid day trader, or just wanting to start streaming in 4K, the better thing to consider is how you plan to use the connection, along with the overall monthly costs for it, and of course any possible limitations in the fine print. Since most of us stream video these days through Netflix, YouTube, or some other service, a good rule of thumb is to multiply the number of devices you plan to be streaming on by 5 to get your ideal minimum speed. So for example, if you have a computer, a tablet, a smart TV, and a smartphone, you would multiply 4 devices by 5 to get a minimum speed of 20. Then you can shop around to see who offers connections in your area, starting at that speed. You might be surprised at what you can find and how affordable it can be. If you don't stream any content yet and just use the internet for basic browsing and emails, you can totally get away with even lower speeds. Although I would always recommend 5 as a minimum. I suggest you start small and then work your way up as you decide that you need more speed. Most providers have no issues with a customer that wants to upgrade. There are a few provider tricks to be aware of though before you sign on that dotted line. First, while speeds have been increasing, causing pricing to drop, many data providers have been starting to include data caps on their lower speed plans. This means that they put a limit on how much data that you can use within a given month. So if you happen to be binge watching every season a month and you happen to hit that cap, then you could run out of internet for the rest of the month, or worse, be hit with overage charges. I suggest trying to avoid any plans that have a data cap. It just makes more sense as more things move online. Second, pay attention to the contract term. Many providers will give you a special lower rate if you sign a contract for 1 to 2 years. This can be a good deal if you plan to live at your address for at least that long, or bundling with some existing services. However, if you need to cancel, there are usually some early termination fees involved. Third, the price you pay is never the advertised price. A game providers love to play is hide the taxes and seek the fees. While each state and provider will vary, nearly all of them will include additional line items, adding a good $10 or $20 to the bill, making that $20 internet deal closer to $40. The most common fee is for equipment. When you receive internet service, that little black box that comes with it actually isn't included. Instead, you rent it from the provider for a monthly fee, usually between $5 to $15. Along with that, you may see extra fees for installation, service calls, and even connectivity charges. And lastly, if you are low income or currently qualify for some government assistance programs, you may also qualify for some special internet service plans. Several major companies currently have programs such as Access from AT&T or Lifeline, which provide discounted internet service and other essentials. If you want to find out more information, I've included some links in the description of the video to find out more. So shop around to find the best deals in your area. Sometimes the right price and fit for you isn't the advertised one. Or try using sites like broadbandnow.com. You can enter in your zip code and then see all of the possible providers in your area and get a snapshot of what they offer. But before you call, make sure to check out some reviews for the companies or ask your neighborhood and find out what other customers are really experiencing. That will keep you from any surprises when that first bill arrives. Like the information in this video and need more? Don't forget to subscribe to the Late Genius channel, like us on Facebook, or visit www.lategenius.com to get the latest content.